Hello folks and welcome. Grsync 22 Cinnamon. You can use this video also on LMDE 6 or the other previous version of the Cinnamon desktop. So I'm going to be talking to the folks that like graphical, point and clicky things. And we're going to talk about Grsync. I'm going to first give you the demo for this. Generally, this tool does one thing at a time. All right, I'm going to use folder in Frank's home folder called Backups to demo this. And generally, again, this tool does one thing at a time. Now you can see I'm doing 6 folders at a time. All right, this is all going to be point and click. None of this is any script files. Okay, it even has folders with spaces in them. So this is geared toward the crowd that kind of likes to do point and click. I will touch upon what these launchers do though. And basically they're written with script files, which is a separate video that I have. If you're into script files, even with auto-mounted hard drives. But we're going to talk to the crowd that likes to do the simple point and clicky thing. So filming in 1080, welcome. Adjust your YouTube if necessary. Player. Subscription key should be in the corner of a person with yellow brackets. I highly recommend that you watch the video in its entirety. Now, however, if you're watching this on someone else's channel, that may be, the logo may be stripped off. Or if you don't see the logo, go find me on YouTube and subscribe there. It's Linux for Seniors. All right, Linux is for any age, but that's the name of my channel. Now, if you want to install Grsync, because you're already using Rsync in most cases and it's installed. What is Rsync anyways? Remote sync. Why is that important? Well, did you activate time shift on your Cinnamon desktop? You were asked to. Most people did. And did you use the standard formatting of your hard drive when you installed your Cinnamon desktop, which was extension 4? If you don't remember that, then you can open up Time Shift and take a look at your backups and the wizard. It will more than likely be defaulted to Rsync. That is a remote sync. Time Shift is making system restore type of things for the future. And I highly recommend that if you didn't do that, is to activate it in case you have a system crash. Time shift can be also found on your installation media. In either case, it is using Rsync in most cases. So we're going to talk about another tool that is the front end of Rsync. I'm going to put in GRS. Comes up with a whole bunch of things, but graphical Rsync is what we're looking for. Grsync. All right. And it's, well, point and click. It's a fairly small footprint, 669 kilobytes. Install that. Then go find it in the menu. You can throw it as a shortcut here or down at the bottom. Okay? So I'm going to open that up. And we're going to talk about this. So we're going to be just clicking around. We're not going to be writing script files. And for the folks that don't know what those things are, let me briefly touch on this. I will not cover this in this video in detail, not whatsoever, but I will show you what they do. So in here, I've got a script folder, and this one here is called main total. It's this one right here, and again, it is down here. I can run this directly in the file manager, but I can also make, quote, launchers for these kind of things. I'll cover that in a second. So basically, I'm going to open this up to let you see what this is. This is a 2-line script file that copies absolutely everything in your home folder. I had a young lady that was looking over my shoulder, a child, many years ago. She called this tilde wormy. It stuck with me ever since she made that comment. And anyways, I thought it was the cutest thing. So with wormy and /, that's your home folder. That means that these 2 script files are running the whole thing using what? Rsync. All right, so you can create fancy launchers. You can run them directly from here. The other day, I banned an internet troll for this dumb comment and his nasty words. He said everybody knows how to use this. Your video was silly. The one for new users, launcher fun. That person absolutely missed the concept. What I did in that video, I put a silly name, a silly icon, with a command of a current program. But you can use also the browse feature for script files and applications you brought in from another hard drive. So that internet troll failed to miss that concept. Anywho's, so that's what these do. And I have copies of them right here. So most people do not need all of their folders copied, but that's what this is, using a script file. The one on USB 1, the total backup, not only contains the standard folders, but it also contains the hidden files and folders, the stuff that starts with period on it or dot. Most people do not need this. But I showed in that video called Backup, 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 how to make these script files. Now we're going to get back on topic. So using graphical rsync, again, is point and click, no script files. So what is important to you? Frank is our made-up user for today. Is your documents important to you? Your music and your pictures? Generally, TimeShift, this tool here, is not making copies of your personal files. It's not making snapshots of your personal files by default. Okay? Toward the end of this video, I'll also show you a very fast tar backup if you want to use a static backup. Static meaning that when you capture this, you're just going to do a quick snapshot. Okay? Stay tuned for that. So Frank deems a couple of these things important to him. His documents, his music, his pictures, and he's got a personal office and his office stuff. He deems that important. However, today, Frank just started, so he can't afford the USB storage devices. USB hard drive or stick. I think most people can afford a stick. But anyways, we're going to treat this as Frank can't or doesn't have these. So we can create a simple folder, and we can call it backups. I call this the poor man's backup. Now, you saw me do 6 folders. This tool generally is designed to do one thing at a time. So I'm going to wipe this clean. And I'll clean up my trash can later because there's a lot of files there. All right, so basically we're looking at Grsync, and when you install this, it will be using rsync in the background. GUI means graphical user interface if you've never used this tool. All right, so again, we're going to be talking about some settings in here. I'll cover about almost 90% of everything. So you start with default, and what is source and what's destination? Well, source being maybe that folder, so we can just click that, and here's Frank's home folder. Frank's just made up name. It's whatever your username is. Click that. It puts a whole path in here. Where's it going to go? Well, since Frank can't afford these toys, he's going to put them here. So that will be the second line. We'll go to backups. It's remember, I already created that folder. All right, so if I want to use the basics, preserve time, show transfer progress, and verbose, that's default. I'll also talk about the importance of this one. Now, the advanced options, you can certainly click these things, but if you don't know what these are, I'm not going to discuss this in this video of all these settings. This video will be well beyond an hour if I do that. I'm trying to squeeze everything down in a reasonable time frame. Extra options, the same thing. You can certainly turn these on. But I'm not in this video, and it will be plenty good for what I'm going to demo. All right, since we're doing documents to backups, let me open the folder up and hit the play button. You can see the folder being created and subfolders, okay? So the command says completed successfully. It's got 2 bars that shows that the completion. If you have tons of files, you'll see that progress along. Okay, and if you've got a spinning hard drive, it'll be a little bit slower than solid state. But you can also see the output. And that's all done with these settings. Show progress and verbose is pretty much what you're looking at here. You don't need to stare at those things though. But this is a good message. So we just did 1 folder using this. Now what I have in here are shortcuts. They're called sessions. It's a funny name. Okay, all of these are just shortcuts. So that's says pictures, so it's going to be making a copy of pictures, going to backups. However, I have this option turned on, and I will discuss that and actually give you a demo of what this does. So if I wanted to run it directly from here, I can just do that. Now you got 2 folders. And I can continue on by doing music also. These are independent, but you saw that I used one command to do all of them. Well, then we're going to talk about creating shortcuts and creating a master set. So I will delete this one because I'll show you how to make these. I'll also delete the documents one because I'm going to recreate that so you can see this being absolutely done on purpose. And more importantly, I can show you how to do this. So again, I'm usually, if you have never seen any of my videos, I demo the stuff that I talk about. That's why it takes me a long time, and I never know what the target audience is. So if you're just basic user, never used this, that's good enough, because I'm going to talk about basic stuff. So this is blank, right? We're starting from scratch. We need a source. What is important to Frank, again, is maybe documents, music, and pictures and other folders. So we start with one folder. Here's Frank's, documents, and you hit open. It's that simple. And where's it going? Well, he can't afford these, so he wants to do it to this folder. So I am going to put this on just temporarily because we're going to save this. Saving this as a session is a shortcut. Add new session. And before you start typing, here's another tip for you. Highlight that word, if that's what you're copying, with your computer mouse. Highlight it and copy it. Then hit the plus key. Then right click with your mouse and hit paste. That way you don't have to type that. I'll talk about what this is in a minute. That's a very powerful tool. Now I created a session for this. If I wanted to, an option to export that out, to copy it in other words, I created a folder in here and I gave you a couple of examples and they all end up with the same extension, dot or period Grsync, whatever name you gave it. Totally optional. All right, so now this is done. How I like to verify that though is I like to go to default and erase that line and then go back to verify that this matches. And I go through and make multiples of these, like music to music, pictures to pictures, and office stuff to office stuff. There's no extra single quotes you need to use in here. All this stuff is taken care of for you graphically, unlike script files. All right, and you can see that folder names have spaces in them. And more importantly, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these quote sessions. Now I'm going to create a master session that will also allow me to select individual ones. Okay, hopefully that was clear. I'm creating what, if you want to call it, a master shortcut session. So we're going to start that with default though, and I'm going to wipe these clean. So basically blank. I'll just leave these on. I hit the plus key and I give it a name. So we can call it PB if you like, personal backup, or write in the word, whatever words you want to use. Okay, whatever makes sense to you. However, we're creating a master session for all of those shortcuts, so you're adding a session, add as a session set. So click that on. Now your screen is different. So basically, I don't need default, but I need the rest of these. So if I wanted to back up just documents and pictures, keep in mind I can unclick these at any time. I need a file manager to let you see the display here. Okay. Now it's going to copy documents and pictures when I hit the play button. Because of the way these are set up, they were being copied to here. I could have changed my mind to copy them here also. As I click these, I will select everything except for default, because again, default is usually the stuff I start out with. So I really don't need that, but you can include it. But I'm not. But I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folders. And there's 2 already done. So Grsync is not going to re-replicate these. Now I'm going to talk about the importance of what Grsync does versus you dragging and dropping files. Depending on how these are set up, if you use this option, it will keep your documents folder absolutely in sync to where this is going. And to give you this demo, I'm going to alter this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, instead of copying the documents folder in Frank's backups folder, I'm going to put it on this device. And that's done with simply changing that. This is a extension for formatted USB hard drive with a simple name on it. Why don't I use spaces in the names? Because of script files. Normally I like something without the spaces in them. That's just me. But in either case, these are both formatted with extension 4, not FAT32. And that becomes important when I talk about that toward the end of the video for TAR backups, tape archive. But we're just going to click that. This is a manually mounted drive. And you can see it already contains that. So I'm going to hit open. So that's my path. I'm taking documents, and the destination now is this device here. However, I'm going to throw you for a loop here. I'm going to make 2 boxes, Control N. And I'll make this a little bit shorter. And why am I going to do this? To let you see how this is done with and without this setting. So I'm going to go in the top box and to Frank's documents and let you see what Frank has. All right, this is USB 1. USB 1 is a USB hard drive, and this is a USB stick. You can actually see the symbols are different. We're going to play with this one because this one is a little fast compared to the stick. What I'm going to do is replicate the document folder in here first. With that setting on, no problem. All right, so total backup we're not going to talk about. Again, that's done with those silly launchers that I had down here. And we're dealing with this folder. So currently, hopefully this is big enough for you. Again, filming in 1080. All of these folders match. But I'm going to turn this off because that's off by default. It's off by default. I'm saying this twice. You have to turn this on. All right, so the importance of this, I'll let you see on the screen. So with this off, Frank decides to do some edits. Frank decides to delete Hello World 2, add another folder called Hello 6, and deletes Test 7, or even edits something else. All right, and then I'm going to re-replicate using the exact same settings. Okay? So what's going on here? Well, it added the extra folder, but it didn't remove the other one I deleted. And the other thing that I deleted, Test 7, is still here. All right, so this is on by default. And you may not understand this concept, but it's called preserving your files. So some users do not want anything deleted when they're making backups or are syncing. They are trying to preserve anything in case you needed to go back and you had dumped your trash earlier and can't retrieve files because you deleted them by accident after you dumped your trash, or before and then dumped your trash, but they're here because you never told it to delete a thing. It keeps adding. Believe it or not, that's a desired feature by some. But then there's folks that go, look, if I delete something or edit something, whether it's a folder or a file, I want that to be exactly duplicated on whatever device I'm sending the copy to. Well, then you want this option. It's as simple as that. When I hit the play button, everything that you see in this top folder will be duplicated exactly the same in here. File for file, folder for folder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll even give you silly stuff. I'm going to add to this file Hello World. It's just a simple text file. I'm going to hit save. So you agree that that's got the word hello world on it, and this one does not. Okay, it's blank. It just says test 8. It's a text file. When I hit this play button, it's not going to duplicate all of these again. It's going to check them though. It checks backup, hello, hello world, and scripts to make sure they match down here. If nothing is altered, Grsync doesn't do anything with them. Then it goes and checks these files, and it'll find that this has been altered, and it'll replicate it. That's what makes Grsync faster the second time around. Now it has the word hello world. Now you understand the concept of deletions on the delete on destination. Again, destination in this case is USB 1. Okay, we're good to go on that so far? All right, so that's an important thing if you want to keep things in sync. I'll let you see my script files now, just to let you get an idea that I do use those. Okay, this is still using Grsync. In this case, this one is excluding hidden files and folders. 2-line script files. The video is called Backup, 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 if you want to look at that. I don't think I mentioned launchers in that video, but you can certainly create launchers, as in the internet troll that I banned the other day. Everyone knows how to use this. No, they don't. But you can certainly browse for your script files and put them in here, in these shortcuts. And then assign it an icon, then hit OK. Of course, give it a name first, and you'll be asked if you want it to be part of your menu, and then you can do stuff like I'm doing here. But again, separate video for that. All right, so you do a recap. You can do single sessions. Again, these are just shortcuts. You can also export them to make copies of these for like backup purposes, if you want to call, just for your sessions. And then you can create a session set, and you can do stuff like that. Back up the video if you don't know how to do this. Or if you, I hate to say the word, if you skipped over, because I get this inevitably, somebody will skip over something, not know how to do it, and then ask me a question, and I usually respond, it's in the video. All right, if it's in there, it's in there. So now let me talk a little bit about poor man's backup using tar. Tar is a static backup, meaning that it will capture your files at this moment. If you wanted to just do a couple of these, I'm holding down the control key while selecting. Okay, if you just wanted to do a couple of these, you can certainly do that. I'm just going to do the home folder. Control A, not the hidden stuff though. Right click, hit compress, and I'm going to use tar. Tar is not compressed. If I wanted to use compression, then I can use other stuff. But this is a static backup, so I'm going to call that backup with today's date on it. Since I have that nice big calendar, today is December 8th. So it'd be 8/12 if you're in Europe, or maybe it's 12/8 if you're in the US. Anyways, whatever format you want to use. I'm going to save it directly into here. We can move this file later. So what is a tar backup anyways? Well, a tar backup is just a static backup, and it's not compressed. Usually they're faster than compression. What's in the box? What's in the tar ball? Everything, including those subfolders. All right, so basically this is a 1.5 gigabyte file. This will fit nicely on pretty much USB sticks or USB hard drives. If your tar backup ends up being about 5 gigabytes, do not format your USB stick or drives with FAT32. As a bonus, you can format your sticks and USB connected hard drives. I have a 250 here. I don't recommend using that in case you're using tar. Keep in mind it's a single file. If you look at the blue bubble, FAT32 cannot handle files larger than 4 gigabytes. Use extension 4. And I don't like to put spaces in the label. You can see that right here. That's just my thing. So in either case, would I advise Frank to put this elsewhere also? Yes. He could put this in his backup folder, like that, along with the Grsync stuff. But I would also suggest to Frank is to copy that and put it on whatever he can afford, if it's a stick or a drive. In my case, I'm going to put this in the drive. It's faster. And keep in mind, placing 1.5 gigabyte stuff on anything that's USB connected is not lightning fast. Okay, just be patient. Thank you for watching.